Hey everyone, welcome to Church Brain Guide. My name is Michael Prasad. Glad you are here today and on this session with me. We're going to be talking about a great topic today that I think will help you quite a bit in getting some clarity on how to grow your church. We believe that when you confuse them, you're going to lose them, and the more clear you can get about who you are as a church, then the more effective you're going to be at growing your church. So today we want to share on the topic of creating a ministry model. And what does that look like? Again, my background, just for you that are new here, is in branding. It's in actually communication design. So for a long time, I was a graphic designer. Before that, though, I grew up in the church, and the church had a huge impact on my life. So I've committed my life and my professional life towards helping churches understand marketing techniques, branding techniques, because I've seen it work. I've helped companies to implement this stuff so that they're able to get their messaging out there, to sell their products and to see great things happen with selling products or services. But I think the church has the best thing in the world, and so I've committed my life towards helping the church get clear about who they are so they can attract more people. That's really what this is all about, attracting more people with the great message and vision that God has given you as a church leader. So thanks again for joining me. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to throw those on here, and then I can get back with you as soon as I'm able to. Today, though, we're taking a look at our ministry model. What does that look like, and how do we leverage it to help you grow your church? So what we want to do is overall is get clear about your vision. And once you have clarity about your vision, you want to create systems that support it. So today we're going to be talking about a system that supports your vision. So I'm going to put it on display right now on my screen. Let me see if I can get it swapped over here just a moment. And you'll be able to look at this, but I'll describe it as well so that you're able to kind of walk through this if you're just listening to the audio version of this. So my passion is to teach, and one of the things that I want to show you today is how to create a system that allows people to come to your church, and when they come, to get involved, to get to be there long term, for your church to be sticky, so people want to stick around. So how do you attract people, and then how do you create a sticky culture that helps them to stick and not go somewhere, not go through the back door? I think if you're a church leader out there, you've probably had that problem before where people just disappear after a while. So when you get clear about what you're trying to do and when you're trying to do it, that's when you can prevent people from going through the back door, so to speak. So I want to show you right now the overall model, and I'll describe it to you as we go through it. So on your screen, you'll see that there's what looks like a highway. So if you imagine a highway, there's a couple things about a highway that I want you to notice. One thing about a highway is that it has lanes in it, and then the other thing about a highway is that it has on-ramps, so different ways to get on the highway. So with your highway, you're going to be able to have a great analogy, a great way to provide on-ramps so that people can jump on and be going with you down the road. So basically, as a church leader, you have a vision. You're going 60 miles an hour down the road with your vision. You're running with the vision, whether you're a pastor or you're on staff. You're running hard. So what you need to do is create these on-ramps so other people can now get on board with your vision, and they can support your vision with their time, talent, and their money. So you need these things in order to grow the church. So the more clear you are about why you're doing something and what you're doing, the more able you are to create these on-ramps. I want to show you a model that looks like this. This is for a church that we've worked with in the past, and this church. Here we go. Let's see if I can get it pulled up here on the screen. Their model looks a lot like this. So they use the analogy of a river instead of a highway because it fit their culture a little bit better. But I wanted to show you this analogy because it has some blanks filled in. So as you can see, the on-ramps, basically what they're calling tributaries. So the river, and then they have tributaries. Those are the events. So as you're thinking about your church, the highway of your church, the different lanes that are on the highway and the on-ramps are going to be your events. And the events are really meant to draw as many people in as possible. So as a brand, if your event is designed around the idea of getting as many people in as possible, it really helps you to shape the event so that it's really what it needs to be. It's there not to do anything else but get as many people in there as possible. And then from there, you want to have a way to get on board to the church. So the event should have a clear call to action that gets people into a lane. So let me explain what a lane is. For this church that I'm showing you right now, lanes are things like small groups. It's like being on a serve team. It's things like, let's see, there's a membership class that's like they meet 4 times, and it's this interactive class that they have. So that's a lane. Or maybe there's some discipleship classes that they might have. Or maybe there's a leadership pipeline that you have that can be a lane. So it's the core essence of the church. It's the core ministries that make up the essence of the church, where people get involved in the community and they're interacting with each other towards a common goal. So that's a lane. The on-ramps are really just fun and playful and just designed to get as many people in as possible based on your target audience. And when I say fun and playful, that means the event is really designed around attracting new people to your church. So, for example, we did a men's ministry planning session with this ministry model in place. So the lane we were going to try to get people into is a small group. That means the men's ministry has to be designed, the event itself is designed to get as many men into the church as possible for the event. And then at the end of the event, they need to get plugged into a small group of some kind, some sort of men's small group where they can engage with other men for an extended period of time. Because that's the lane. That's what it means to be in the essence of the church. So the men's ministry event was shaped by this idea. It was going to be kind of upbeat, not try to go too deep in the teaching. The teaching itself would apply to kind of a general audience, because they wanted to basically attract about the 30-year-old man to this event. Someone that has kids, is married potentially. That's what this community is. It's in suburbia. And those are the types of men they wanted to attract to this event, because they were going to try to help them. So throughout the event, they're trying to reach out to these younger, maybe 25 to 45-year-old men. And one of the things that we decided to do was put in some competition, because we all know that men love to compete. So when you compete, you begin to form friendships, and friendships are good in the life of a church. So we decided to put up like a pull-up bar where we can do a little competition with that, or maybe there's trivia, or maybe there is some sort of a meal that's served. So that's one of the things they're going to have as well, as a meal where there's going to be lots of meat, because men like to eat meat. So again, we're shaping the event to be as attractive as possible to the community as a whole. As we execute the event, it's going to be a safe place for people to come who are guests. So we're going to create a safe environment. So when somebody invites a coworker, a neighbor, somebody that doesn't normally come to church, it's going to be a safe place where they're going to be introduced to church and to Jesus. There's no hiding the fact that it's a church and that Jesus is the thing that they preach. That's not the idea. The idea is to present that in a way that's going to be engaging to as many people as possible. So I remember going to an event and back when I was younger, and I invited somebody to come with me. And it was a church event, and I used kind of all my credibility to get somebody, this friend of mine who used to work with me at the mall, to come with me to church. So I've been working on him for a while. And then he came to the event at the church, and it wasn't what I expected. And I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you, where you showed up, maybe you invited somebody to come with you, and you promised them one thing, and then something different happened. Well, in the church service, it ended up that instead of having a great experience, we ended up doing something that was a little strange. The pastor asked us to get up and to run around a little bit, and that caused a disconnect to take place, to where my friend, he just felt very awkward. It wasn't a safe place for him. And so he never ended up coming back. And for me, that was like, man, that really shot me a blow as far as my personal evangelism, because my church was not a safe place to bring people. And as I talked to more people at the church, they kind of said the same thing. This is a great church. It's awesome to be part of the family, but it's not really a great place to bring new people. So what is your church? What's your approach? Do you have a place that's safe when you have events? Are they safe so that other people can come? It doesn't mean that you can't do things that are more like in depth in the life of Christ, and we know there's a lot of depth in knowing who Jesus is and experiencing Him. So we're not saying don't do that. We're just saying there's a place for it. So maybe at the event you on ramp people, right? You get them on board. And then at the event, and then the call to action to get them into a lane is to then invite them to come to a small group where people can get more involved with each other. But the goal of the event itself is not necessarily for the same goal as a small group would be, where small group is all about relationship. The event might just be an event where you want people to come and just have a good time. So hopefully this ministry model helps bring some clarity to you. One of the other things you'll notice is that the events are spread out during the course of a year. So we want people to be able to come to these events strategically. So they're spread out during the course of a year. I don't know if you've ever been at a church where Christmas is in 2 weeks, and you're like, oh yeah, we forgot about that. We've been involved as an agency. We've been involved with many churches who kind of forget about things like Christmas or Easter because it's so busy they're so busy doing regular ministry, and I think we can all relate to that. So what if you could plan ahead of time for your whole year and just be strategic about when you're going to have things so that you're able to spread them out to maximize the effectiveness of the event and to drive people into family, into being a part of the community of the church. And you have a very clear call to action for everyone that's not involved in marketing. Call to action means there's one thing that you want somebody to do. So at the event, the entire event should be centered around this one thing that you want people to do. So you can have a great event, preach a great message, have an altar call, however you do it in your church. Maybe there's a prayer response to have salvation take place. A lot of different things can happen, but there's a very clear call to action that we want you. If you come to this event, you liked what happened at all at this event, and you would like to get more involved, then the clear call to action is to get into a small group or whatever that might be for the event. So again, I used one example of men's ministry, but this can apply to any event that you have at your church. Does it have a clear on-ramp to something that's deeper in the life of the church? And honestly, when you're planning your events, that's probably where you need to start. In fact, that is where you need to start. Start at the end. What is the result that you want from this event that's going to lead people deeper into the life of the church, and then build it backwards so that your event is completely centered around this idea of getting people plugged into the life of the church. That's going to help you quite a bit. What I've done too is I've created a worksheet that helps churches begin to understand what this looks like for them. So I'm showing you right now on the screen this worksheet, and basically there are lanes. So if you want to recreate this, use a whiteboard, use a piece of paper, recreate this. Pretend there's a highway in the middle, create some lanes, and plug in the middle there all the areas of the church that represent an ongoing, deeper relationship experience in your church, where people can come and make friendships, deep friendships potentially can take place in those areas. So that means those lanes have to be reoccurring. They're not just one-time things. One-time things are events. And then take a moment to draw some on-ramps. Spread them out during the course of the year, and then create some on-ramps that are your events. So if you already have events that happen during certain times of the year, create an on-ramp. Write the name of that event in that on-ramp so you know what it is. And then maybe you can begin to fill this out for yourself and for your church. That's really what it takes. Just fill this out, get that clarity about what you do as a church, when things are during the course of a year. And I just want to let you know, too, that I've provided a course, so you can join me on these Facebook Live sessions. We're going to have one every single week. So check us out at churchbrandguide.com and keep in touch with us. And we'll let you know when we're having these teaching sessions. We're going to try to hold them once a week so we can teach you different tactics to help you get clear about your church and then create systems that support it. So right now what you're seeing is a system for your events. The system does the heavy lifting. It allows you to plan once and then just execute the game plan. So if you think about football, this is part of your playbook. This is the play that you can run for your events so that you don't have to reinvent it every time. You kind of know what's going on. So it's great to have a playbook. I want to let you know that we have developed a course that allows people to have a playbook. So the big idea is that we wanted to create something at Church Brand Guide that would allow churches to have a playbook and begin to understand who they are as a church, what they offer, and then begin to maximize that as a church so that you're able to just have that clarity and create these systems, as many systems as you can possibly think of. And now we've done the hard work for you in our course where we've created all the systems that we can think of that help churches run well. So if you go to churchbrand.com, you can click on the course button and check out the course, see if that's something that you want. At the very least, though, I just want to let you know that we're going to be holding these Facebook Live sessions, and you can jump onto our website. And if you sign up for any of our free resources, we'll email you and let you know when these sessions are, so you can join us on a weekly basis. We're thinking right now we're still a little bit in the works, but we're thinking Wednesday afternoons might be a good time for these. So that might adjust, but we'll let you know in the future. So again, join us again on Facebook Live. And also check us out on churchbrandguide.com. There's a bunch of free resources that help you get your branding nailed down, get clear about who you are, so that you're able to reach more people. And that ultimately, that's what we're all about. We want to help you reach more people, and when you reach them, help them to stick. Because there's a lot of churches out there too that you're reaching people, but they're not sticking around. So we want to make sure that we create systems and help you create systems that allow people to stick around. So once again, I'm going to sign off here in just a moment. If you do have any questions, please let me know, and we'll try to answer them. So even after the fact, if I'm off the Facebook Live session, feel free to shoot me out some questions, and I'd love to give you any replies that I can to help you do this well for your church. So once again, my name is Michael Prasad. You're listening to Church Brand Guide. I would encourage you to just check us out at churchbrandguide.com. We also have a podcast on iTunes, and you can check us out there as well. I'll show you one more time the diagram here. One of the things that we do well is we help to communicate well with churches. So communicate ideas well by creating diagrams and illustration to help you get clarity on different ideas and concepts. So this is your diagram for this week. It's your highway with some lanes and some on-ramps, and it just provides a ministry model so you're clear that the events are all about drawing people in. If you think about a funnel, the funnel is very big on top, and then as you get towards the bottom, it's smaller. It funnels people, or it funnels liquid, or it funnels whatever it is into a flow. And that's what you want to do with your events. You want to funnel people into a flow into your church, and so that they get involved with it. So thanks again for joining me today on our Facebook Live session. And join me next week. You can plan on 5 o'clock on Wednesday, 5 o'clock Central Wednesday. I'll let you know for sure on an email. So subscribe to our email list by getting one of our free resources, and we'll let you know when we'll be back on a Facebook Live. All right, thanks again. Let me know any comments that you have. I'll stick around for a little bit and answer those for you here this evening. But I'll see you next time.